Thank you for joining me, Judy. This is Judy Meyer, who is a current trustee for the Community Library Network. She's a candidate for the election coming up on May 16th. Judy, if you could introduce yourself and say a few things to those people who shockingly may not know who you are.
Well, thank you, Dan, for providing the program. I think it is important to help the citizens be aware of some of the choices they had ahead of them. It's a choice we as a family made years ago, just about 50. We joke about that being in the
50.
last century, because Steve and I joined the Coeur d'Alene area in the early 70s, chose to raise our family here, and we're anxious that they be sure our kids have a chance to come back to the community. And so that was one of the driving forces for me to participate in the community. And at that time, we were even working on having kindergartens, full-time kindergartens. So we start back with early education. Yep, remember when? And many folks in the community thought this is important and worked on it. And that led me into the education world, which I've been a champion of as well as with my husband and starting our businesses. So it's been a joyful and exciting time to be part of the community. It is more troubling for me now. And that's why I guess this grandma says, nope, I'm not going to give up. I want to run for the library board to help continue to provide good access to information.
Because this is a non-paid job. It's
Is
a
that
thankless.
right?
Well,
I thought I was going to get my salary doubled when I got elected this time. Okay.
and we can do that math. It works. Have you ever seen anything like you've seen for the past 2 years where these people are coming up and they're upset? I mean, what's your reaction to that after being involved for so long and all of a sudden there's this?
Whoa. And you're right. That is troubling for me, close to dismaying at times, but it also helps me realize the community is changing. That's both good and bad. We need to be wise in how we deal with change. It's reassuring to me that people care. That part is good. So finding the blend of folks who may not be as familiar with libraries and what they need to do and what they want to do and what we do well is probably part of what I'm learning with this campaign. And that is we need to do more marketing. Librarians tend to be happy with their books and taking care of people at the counter. So that has led to, for me in the last 2 years, to concern, dismay, but also conviction. It only teaches me more about the need for folks to have access to accurate information. Will, I think, help our community value libraries more than they may have now. In this election, it's become more mean-spirited, and we've seen that in the community. That worries me for who will want to take a turn doing public service as we time out or age appropriate, however you want to call it. So that has worried me, inspired me, and I think our community is having a chance to realize there are some real choices to be made. And this election, I think, highlights that more than we've had even before. So between that and the levies, again, valuing education, I'm optimistic, or I wouldn't be doing this.
What do you view as your role as a trustee regarding the dissemination of any information, and specifically these accusations that the library is packed in the children's section with dirty books?
Well, we try to wash them off and dust them as much as we can, but the
Oh my
real
God, that's wonderful.
good. What you've identified is a real dilemma and an awesome responsibility as a board member, and that is we board set policy, the operations, as we've seen with North Idaho College, the blending or the separation is probably more important to say, is critical to how we can function as public agencies in many ways, whether it's highway districts or in this case, libraries. And so for me, the responsibility of setting good policy, which includes listening to the public, and we have public comment times to do that, with the various needs of our community. And so it can't be one-sided. And that's where we come into what fun folks view as smut or age inappropriate. It's a fierce dilemma. This grandma is not out there peddling pornography, and it hurts when I'm accused of that. It hurts all our board members. That's not how we volunteered for this nonpartisan job, to be treated like that. But it also teaches us we need to pay attention to help figure out the right way to sort out those books and evaluate them. We also need to remind everybody that a library card is something you're entitled to, but it also means parents then, until the age of 18, are responsible for what their children check out or have access to. And as a response to our community's concern about contents, we have developed a new policy, and we've worked at the age appropriateness of saying our culture has probably changed a bit too, and so have the publishers and what they publish. 0 to 12-year-olds category of books very different in age appropriateness than those, and we changed the age group here to teens and said that's from 12 to 13 or 15. I'm sorry, 15 now, 13 now. And then after that, it's adult. Therefore, until the age of 18, you still have the overarching responsibility and opportunity for parents to manage how their kids use their library card. Our library has access to the kids' cards online, and so parents can check online with what their kids are checking out. They can authorize certain age groups, categories to be available to their child, or say, nope, I want to opt out of that. I'm not ready for my child to have an opportunity to get to those materials.
In your experience, as long as you've been doing this and the growth is fantastic and all
Yep.
the library branches prove your success, how many times have you seen a librarian or a staff member so-called indoctrinate someone?
Probably, if anybody, it's the board members who need education. We don't call it indoctrination about what the issues are, what they're hearing at the front counter at the desk, what the children's program people are hearing from kids and parents about. I wish you did a program about. So there's a double access issue. Us to the staff back to us. I'm heartbroken by some of the comments that I hear from staff that are feeling very troubled by how they're being treated. People rushing in to say, show me where the porn section is. That's just not the way libraries operate. But until somebody comes in the library and sees how, I think, safe and genuine and caring the service is, they won't know, and it's easy to project on them things they hear or stories that are told. So I guess my plea to everybody would be, come savor this remarkable service. It's there for you.
In your campaign, and I do want to do a rant about the American Legion thing that happened the other day, the meeting.
Only yesterday, less than 24 hours, Dan.
It's time is flying, and I know you've been through a lot of elections. You know how this works. So in this forum, you're talking with your opponents, and I get the impression that these are like you left NIC before the madness happened. And can you see some of that starting to happen again? With Regina was calling it the micromanagement. There's a lot of stuff that these guys are just completely clueless about. Would you care to comment on that at all?
It's troubling for me when they speak without having had the full chance or chosen to take the opportunity to better understand. They're fussing about our budget. It's online. Go look at it. Come to our budget hearings. The things that responsible citizens, I think, need to do. You're right. Seeing what's happened at NIC is another heartbreaking moment. It both discourages me and fires me up to say, can't let that happen. We got to take this community back into caring people who thoughtfully try to evaluate situations and information. That's what libraries do, provide you more than one opinion, but they're from reliable sources.
What I've heard and what I've noticed about the campaign is there's really two sides to the issue here. There's you and Regina, the M&Ms, and what you guys want is you guys want the public to make the decision. It's like,
Please.
here's the resource. This is the grocery store.
Yep.
And you can come in and you can buy whatever food you want to make your meals. What I see the other side saying is this is the grocery store and we are vegetarians and we're going to get rid of all the meat.
Yep.
And this is just, it's all about choice.
And that's troubling. And sometimes choice is considered kind of a firebrand word. On the other hand, how would we be in America if we didn't have access to good information, make choices, live those choices and find out, oops, I need to change it. That's okay too. That's part of life. What we need to do again is be sure to highlight to our citizens as they vote that the opponents for Regina and me have not had much experience with any boards, but particularly in a public agency where there are some different rules than when you have your own business, which is why we do our own business as well as public service. And we recognize there's a big difference, but all that has to do with who manages your choices.
Why would this be controversial? how can we how can we make it controversial? What can we do? Well, we're not doing that part.
Emotions.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
then they appeal to emotions. So you have the
Remember,
logic. And
yep. But remember, emotions have no IQ, so
they
it needs
don't,
to be
do they?
It's human. That's fine. But now it's the balance.
So is there anything else you want to add that you haven't said so far to help your campaign or to inform people who like I said, shockingly may not know who you are. And
It isn't about me, Dan. It's about the library, public tax dollars being spent wisely. As a board, our responsibility is to be as wise as we can, to listen, to change. We're not frozen into anything, and we shouldn't be. I would hope that folks will look at the candidates' information to understand there's clearly an agenda, and the political, religious, social agendas do not belong in library selection policies.
one thing that's remarkable about this interview so far is how positive you are. And that's marvelous. I mean, I hope people see that and see the sun shining here, because it's
So,
not all gloom and doom. It's, you're talking good stuff. You're telling a great story. This is not the anger and vitriol that we get from the other side. If people want to support your campaign, what can they do?
thank you. I appreciate that because I need that energy with the support that folks have done already. It's remarkable and comforting. We do have a website, saveourlibrary.net, where you can connect with both Regina and myself. We're kind of running as a team because with a 5-member board, if both of us don't get elected, we're back to the NIC scary part. And then we'll have a visit about gloom and doom. But so far, supporting me would be checking with that website, campaigning, signs, letters to the editor, but probably most of all, recruiting and highlighting everybody the need to vote.
I really wish you success. I hope people watch this, and I want to thank you too for your dedication to this community for so long. And I really hope you get another term, because I would hate to be the swan song, especially all you've been through and all you've done for the community. I do appreciate that, and I thank you for the time and a great interview.
Thank you, and thank you for helping spread the word. Carry on, Dan. Thank you.